All right. So I didn't get a lesson in with my coach this week. And honestly, that turned out to be a good thing. Not because lessons aren't valuable, they are, but because lessons take bandwidth. And this week needed to feel more like a recovery than performance. So, lessons are often seen as the core of language learning. The, the moments when you push, you grow, and level up your skills. But the truth is, lessons are also a little mentally taxing. They demand like a lot of focus, energy, and sometimes even emotional bandwidth. That's why recovery days matter just as much as the lessons. Think of the lessons like a gym workout. You go hard, you lift heavy, you push yourself to new limits. But if you never take a day to stretch, to recover, to recover your muscles, they get tight, they get sore, and eventually you get injured. So the same kind of applies to language learning. Without the recovery, your brain gets tired, motivation just dips, and the progress stalls. Now, I learned this the hard way. So early on, I thought every week had to be a sprint. Lessons, drills, output, repeat. But there's a limit to how much your brain can handle. Some weeks I feel mentally drained, frustrated, or stuck. And those were the weeks when I needed to just take a step back, not push forward. The recovery days aren't about quitting or failing or falling behind. They're about letting your brain process what you've just learned, blending the new knowledge and preparing for the next push. On recovery days, I still showed up, I still moved things around, reviewed a little, practiced lightly, connected. But I didn't max out, I didn't go crazy. This perspective shift came when I built my system, Language OS. Built it around energy management, not just hours logged. Some weeks are for pushing. Others are for letting things settle. Both are crucial. And if you're worried about losing progress by taking it a little easy, remember that a burnt out mind doesn't learn well. Recovery weeks, they recharge your mental battery to keep your motivation alive and your skills sustainable. So don't underestimate the power of a recovery day. It's not a step back, it's strategic pause that sets you up for long-term success. When I missed a lesson this week, I didn't force myself to produce heavy output or cram new grammar into my brain. Instead, I chose balance, a light, manageable way to keep the engine running without burning out. So first, I went back to the basics. I reviewed simple sentence structures, not because I needed a refresher, but because after a break, my brain just benefits from, knocking off a little dust from the gears. Revisiting the fundamentals just primes your mind to absorb new information more smoothly. And then after that, I did a light reflexive verb review, used Brim, and I didn't try to master anything, just enough to recognize patterns again. This low pressure review reminded me of the building blocks without the pressure of immediate mastery. Finally, I just made one sentence I already knew my target language. No surprises, no new concepts. I translated it, checked it, then I translated it back. And I stopped before overthinking could creep in. And this is what made it fun, not precise. Just gentle production to keep my output muscles active. This approach feels counterintuitive if you're used to pushing hard all the time, but it's super effective. You're not wasting time by not advancing. You're maintaining momentum without the overload. Think of it as like a light jog after a week of running. You're moving, you're active, but you're giving your body the space to adjust. That's how you make progress sustainable. So, if you miss a lesson or feel mentally drained, try this. Review the basics, do light practice, and produce familiar sentences for fun. It's enough to keep you connected to the language without the pressure. So that week, the real work wasn't in heavy grammar drills or new sentence drills. It was in just the 10 minutes of shadowing. Only 10. I remember sitting down with my headphones in, watching a short clip in my queue on the YouTube Shorts, was ready to shadow. So as I repeated the words, my tongue actually started to feel a little sore. My mouth just moved in ways that English never really asked for. And it felt physical, like stretching muscles that had been like just asleep too long. And the first few repetitions, they were painful to hear, honestly. My pronunciation was pretty rough. My rhythm was a little off, but with each round, it got easier and better. The soreness reminded me of the early days when input used to give me headaches when I was reading or listening to content. That discomfort went away with the repetitions, and I knew this would do exactly the same. So later, I ended up watching a Stranger Things video in Spanish. Not my usual MMA content, but something familiar yet different. And I understood it. That moment reminded me, no matter your level, there's always input you can use. Sometimes stepping outside your comfort zone is the best way to keep growing. So this week was kind of a contrast to my old grind mentality. I could have pushed harder, more sentences, more grammar, more grind, but that's exactly how I used to just quit. The difference now is I stopped trying to just crush myself, and I realized that consistency beats intensity every time. Some weeks are heavy, and some are light. That's not falling off the wagon. It's integration. It's part of making the language a lifelong habit, not just a sprint. So here's the lesson. Don't fear light weeks. They're the glue that holds your progress together. Keep showing up, even if just for 10 minutes of shadowing or repeating a sentence you already know. Your goal isn't perfection every day. It's staying connected, keeping the gap between input and output manageable, and making language learning part of your life, not a chore. That's the process to stick with. So remember, this is not a task, not a grind, just another part of life. Some weeks push, some weeks recover, and over time it compounds sooner, faster, and way more fun. Most people treat this like something they step in and then step out of. I've decided that it stays. By the way, no pressure, but there's a link underneath this video where you can have a look at my paid programs. When you trust me enough and feel like my free content has changed your life, you can have a look at that.